Well, good morning, everybody. This is, to be frank, that's just the title that I use. And I've decided for this year, 2019, I have my meetings here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Thursday at the same time. And then also I have these on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at the same time. And basically, I'm just going to kind of change the format a little bit so that I can do a few recordings. And if somebody comes in, maybe we can discuss what I've been going over and discussing. But I find that reading books is really can be very helpful within our business and what we do. And so I've decided to give our little group here, or give my group, or whatever we're going to call it, the title for 2019, and I'm going to call it the Magic 12. Because my goal is going to be that through the year, I'm going to go through 12 books. And what I'll start out to do is just basically read from them. And if people jump in, then we can change the format or go over questions that may be asked at that particular point in time. Anyway, for the first book that I thought that I would go through is a book called Maxwell Maltz. He's the gentleman who wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics and Self-Fulfillment. And I think we would all agree that self-fulfillment is kind of what we want to do with our business and earning money and prospering, into the future. And I've believed it for a lot of years, but I'm just kind of, shall we say, put it in a little more practice, is that you can create whatever you think about. And so if you want to create a business, you do have to think about it. But anyway, I'm going to start reading from Maxwell Maltz's book. And the first thing that's in there is number one, reaching your goals. And I know we all have some goals. So if I'm looking down and not looking up at you, it's because I'm reading the book. Okay? And I think it's, a lot of us don't seem to have time to even read, let alone get on the webinars and see what's going on. But anyway, reaching goals. As we go forward into the second half of the 20th century, we find ourselves in the midst of a great electronics revolution, and I think you would agree. Computers undertake incredible tasks in industry and in our exploration of outer space. We have perfected complicated devices which enable us to haul our astronauts back to safety on Earth, even under extreme conditions. Very true, very true. And this book was written, let's see, I have to look, I think it was back in 1970, excuse me. May of 1970. So you can imagine, here's a man with a foresight into the future. And if any of us know between 1970 and the present day, holy cow, have things changed. Anyway, back to reading. At the same time, a revolution takes place in the vast inner space of our minds. And I underline that particular one because I think that's part of the key to some of our success with what we want to do. And that's the visualization and the realization of the vast inner space that's in between our brains. There's a lot there. Anyway, back to reading. For we find evidence that in making man, our Creator has endowed him with a servo mechanism more wonderful than any electronic brain or guidance system that man has invented, and operating on the same basic principles. Our Creator has given us all a built-in goal-striving device with which to achieve our goals. In the final analysis, this should enable us to rise above the mere physical survival aspects of living to form a successful and satisfying living. To emphasize the difference is that for animals, life implies physical survival as well as the procreation of the species. Thus, we find that birds in the wintertime fly to warmer climates in self-protection, and their flights of thousands of miles they undertake without even getting hold of the TV weather reports. And a squirrel born in the spring will, without ever having experienced a winter, collect nuts for the winter for survival. Animals, however, do not select their goals. Their goals of procreation and self-preservation are preset. I think we all know that. Human beings, on the other hand, have an advance beyond the animal stage. Yes, we do. We possess a power of creative imagination which makes us more than creatures. It makes us creators. We can create that which we want. And because of this productive imaginative power, our goals are limitless. Most of us probably wouldn't believe that, but it's very true. Within your mind, midbrain, is a very small electronic computer, a tape recorder, an automatic servo mechanism, a success mechanism that you operate like an electronic computer. Good morning. Somebody had dropped in. How are you this morning? Oh, you can't hear me.
Now I can.
Now you can hear me. So
How you doing?
What's up with you today?
Hard at work.
Hard at work. Well, I better let you know I'm recording this.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to briefly go over what I started already because
Okay.
I'm recording it. And then I need your help, to make sure I can get it on YouTube.
Okay.
But anyway, for the New Year's resolution, what I've decided to do is call my group the Magic12.
Okay.
And the reason I'm calling the group the Magic12 is my goal is between now and January of 2020, I intend to read or go over 12 different books. So if nobody's here, I'll be reading a book, which
Okay.
I'd already started doing. And the first one that I'm starting with, which I think you've probably seen before. Let's see which way I got to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I don't know if a lot of people have read this book. Some may have, some may not. But it's interesting to go over all these different things because I think so many of us, and what you and I both want to do, is we want to get people to realize, one, what kind of business we have, two, how great the business is,
Mm-hmm.
and three, and the most important of the first two, is you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have the desire to do it.
Yep.
You have to have the want to do it. And through reading, like through Psycho-Cybernetics, I think it does help one to realize that we're not animals, we're human beings. And we've been very, very gifted with the fact that we can have anything we want.
Mm-hmm.
But we first have
Ask.
to,
Ask.
ask. But we also have to believe, you know. You can ask. It's like one of the things that I did years ago was a realization that I asked God to forgive me for all my sins.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And several years went by, and then one day, you know, like getting hit with lightning, like reading a book, okay? It dawned on me that I had asked him to forgive me, but I hadn't forgiven myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I thought about that, I got to thinking, I said, you know what? If I haven't forgiven me, then I'm making Jesus look like a fool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely not correcto mungo.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so then I decided that it was time to open up the door and say, Robert, if Yeshua or Jesus can forgive me, then I guess I can forgive myself. And so that's what I did. I was looking up a couple things here before I got started. Did you know what cybernetics means? It's in the book, but
Something about how things work.
well, yeah, but the word cybernetics itself means helmsman
Hmm.
or a man who steers his ship.
Okay.
And I thought that was kind of interesting because that's what we're all trying to do is steer our ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully through the month of January, I'll be working on this particular book and get through as much as I can. And in February, I'll grab another book because I got a lot of books here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, over the years, I've read a lot of interesting books. And so if that's what it's all about, you know, to steer one's mind to a productive and useful goal. And so that's what hopefully in doing this, we can help possibly people to understand that they're in control. They're in control of their destiny. They're in control of what they want. So it gets right back down to that nitty gritty. What is it do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's, you know, like when you read the book, because I've read quite a bit of it, and you begin to realize a lot of us, believe it or not, seem to have a tendency of not even knowing what you want. I mean, there's a lot of us out here that really have to give that some thought. What do you want? And so I went out and I asked a couple of people that I know that are, you know, in the business, and I said, "What do you want?" "Oh, I don't know." "Well, I mean, is it money? Is it power? Is it buy more product? What is it that you want?" "Oh, I've never really given a lot of thought." Well, if you haven't given a lot of thought, stop and think about this. Your mind is the creator of whatever you're going to produce.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have no idea what it is you want, then that's what you're going to produce. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it really boils down to the fact that you got to have a goal, some kind of goal. And it's not up to me to decide what that goal is. Each individual has to decide what that goal is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to give you an example, I think sometimes that some of us are just afraid to throw it out in the atmosphere. And so I gave a lot of thought, and I'm still kind of in the quandrum of, you know, what do I really want? Well, I'm still in that quandrum. I don't know. But I thought, okay, I do know that there's one thing I definitely want. I want to get out of debt. I want to have more money than I have now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the book says that won't work. You have to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to be specific, then I have to really give it a thought. And the book says when you give it thought, it has to be something that you never had before. As an example, I might say to you, what's the most money you ever made in a year?
Mm.
And your answer is not even important. It wouldn't make any difference if you said 10,000 or you said 100,000. I just like to know what's the most you ever made in a year?
Something
Or
like
what?
80,000.
Okay. Now, the perfect example is the other question I like to ask is how much have you ever saved in 1 year? What's the most money you ever had in a bank that you saved?
A couple thousand.
A couple thousand. Well, you're like me. I remember, oh God, 15, 16, maybe 20 years now. I said to myself, I want $1,000 in the bank before the end of the year. And in this particular case, I literally set the goal and I made up my mind that's what I was going to do. Now, part of the lessons in life helps you realize that when you accomplish that goal, the first thing that goes off in your head is, you know what? I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I set that goal, guess what? 1 year later, I had $1,000 in the bank.
Mm.
Now, without going into detail about other things, whoops, there goes the phone. Oh, I can call them back later. It's an advertisement. Anyway, I accomplished the goal. So then that taught me a lesson that made me realize just exactly like with True Nine, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So for this year, I decided, okay, I'm going to set a different goal. I'm going to set a goal at $5,000. That's not my earnings. That's my savings. Between now and January of next year, I would like to have $5,000 in an account. That's mine. I haven't spent it. It's basically savings. Okay? And that 5,000 is 5 times greater than something I have never ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went on to say, all right, now I'm going to think about True Nine. So with True Nine, I said, okay, I'm going to set another goal. This time my goal is going to be a little bit different because I've never made in any multi-level business more than $5,000 in any given year, and usually a lot less than that. But way back years ago when I was Amway, I got up to where I probably hit 5,000 for a year. So I said, okay, one of the things the books mention is that you need to set a goal that's not something that you know you can obtain, but something you want to obtain and just a little bit higher than what you think you can do. So I said, okay, I want to set a goal to earn a minimum of $25,000 by January of next year.
Excellent.
Okay? Now, the reason I'm taping this and recording this and talking to you about it and hope to share with other people who want to come to the meeting and learn something about a book that they probably haven't got time to read is that I have put it out there. And by putting it out there, I put myself, so to speak, one might say, in a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I have to be motivated, and I will be motivated, and I am motivated to get that 25,000 by next year.
Cool.
Okay? Now, one of the things the book brings up that I think is really, really, really fantastic is that, you have to know what you're going to do to make it happen. That means you have to have a plan, just like setting goals. Well, I pushed the paper around and I took 25,000 and I figured out that's what 25,000. That's about
But let me amend that, Robert. You don't need the plan. The plan will form itself in the process.
that is very true. But you
And
still
God will see to you that you have the plan.
right. But you still need to. Okay, let's go through the inner space of the power of our God. I'll call you back later. You have to go through this power to allow that power to know what you're asking for, basically. You need to set up some kind of plan. It doesn't make any difference what kind of plan it is. You need a plan, and then turn it over to God and say, look, here's my plan. Help me fill it out.
Except you got it backwards. Turn it over to God, and He will help you form the plan.
Well, that could be.
That's what Mike teaches. That we don't know how the seed grows. Now that you've planted the seed, you've said what you want. You said what you're going to attain, and the seed has been planted. Now it will grow on its own, whether or not you plan on it or not. And it says we don't know how it grows, but we know that it does when it's planted.
Right.
So that's what Mike's teaching, that if you turn it over to God, He will help you to make that plan. And
Right.
He will show you moment by moment, day by day, hour by hour, how that plan will be formed in your mind. You'll have opportunities come into your life that otherwise would not come in.
Right. And then in reference to what you just said, and Mike, what you're saying is very true, because it goes with the laws of attraction. In other words, I planted the seed.
Yeah.
Now the seed is going to grow, and I don't know how it's going to grow. It's like he references, what he doesn't, but someone references to a potato, and you put it in a cabinet, and the door is open, just a little tiny sliver. And just a little bitty kind of light can get through that sliver.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you ever took and looked at what was going on, you'll notice that the little thing that comes out of a potato when they grow, the eye, okay. When the eye grows, it always goes towards the light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we want to do with planting our seed. We want that seed, wherever God directs us, we want that seed. We want to shine that light on that seed so that it's going to grow wherever it's going to grow.
Yep.
And so that's why I like the idea of going through different books, because I think if you stay on one book and that's your whole life,
mm-hmm.
that's not going to work, because there's a lot of different books.
So let me ask you, what plan has God laid on your heart? Because He will do it immediately.
Well, one of the plans that He actually laid on my heart was there's not too much that I can do until my credit score is corrected. And this I've already done. I went into Credit Karma. I checked my credit. I know exactly what the problems are. I've gotten a hold of an attorney. I'm going to find out exactly what I need to do, file grievances and tell them, that's not my debt. Or if it is my debt, do everything in my power to get that paid off, which will create my credit score will go up, which means I can thus do more, because it's like running a business. If I wanted to borrow $5,000 for True 90, just for the hell of it, today I couldn't do that because my credit score is. But guess what? Whether it's this month, next month, 3 months from now, somewhere down the road, God has opened that door for me, and He's going to show me how to do that. My credit score will get better, and I will be able to be more productive because of it.
Amen.
So that's
Sounds good.
So that's one thing that God has set on my heart.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
So anyway, that just give you a little bit of an idea of what like I was going through, and then I'm going to go back here where I left off. Excuse me, just to fill up some airspace because this is my goal. When you came in, this is where I was at. So I'm going to go back to reading just for a little bit, and then maybe we can discuss what I read or ask questions.
Okay.
Within your midbrain is a very small electronic computer, a tape recorder, an automatic servo mechanism, a success mechanism that you operate like an electronic computer, a goal-striving mechanism that will help you move toward your goals. Like an astronaut whizzing toward his goal somewhere so far away and returning to Earth, you may grope within the vast inner space of your mind to discover the wealth within you before you return to yourself. Not only can your brain function automatically to help you solve problems, but it can also help you adapt more acceptable of life to life, giving you insight into human behavior with one overriding goal in view, your complete fulfillment as a human being. Now, I would add here that Psycho-Cybernetics is a book of science. So I would add here that if you have the energy from the power of God flowing through you, what I just read will be multiplied multiple times.
Yep.
Anyway, and if I'm looking down, like I said earlier, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading.
Okay.
I call this creative psycho-cybernetics, or steering your mind into a productive goal. This does not imply that a man is a machine, but that man controls a machine that is his. In my book, Psycho-Cybernetics, I explain this in great detail, and he does. Within us, however, we have, in addition to a success mechanism, a failure mechanism. This failure mechanism is a composite of frustrated, negative feelings which pull us off course.
Yeah.
Sidetracking our positive inclinations, shrinking our self-image, blocking our attempt to reach our full stature as dignified human beings. Really interesting.
But I don't want to be a statue. I want to be a person.
Oh, did I say statue? A full stature.
Stature.
Stature. Okay. It's good to have you here because I'm not the greatest reader in the world, but that's all right.
It's okay. You know, I was listening to a recording yesterday, and boy, this guy was mispronouncing all sorts of words reading a book.
Uh-huh.
He called it, he said, psychiatrist and psychiatrist. I'm thinking, what?
Okay. Yeah, what is that?
Psychiatrist. What is a psychiatrist? And that was only one of them that was pretty obvious. There was a whole bunch of this book was full of complicated words, and he obviously had no clue on half of them.
Yeah. Now, I'll give you another example because you brought up something that I thought of, and I got to find it. So when I find it, have you ever heard of dragon?
Dragon.
Yeah, dragon is something that you can put into your computer. That's, it's not like like Katona, but it's a thing that, and I think I like it because it's better, it's quicker. I can literally, because I had it in this other computer, but I haven't put it in this one yet. But now I got to find the disk, to download it. But I can almost talk as fast as I'm talking right now, and Dragon will print it out. And what I found out about Dragon that I really liked was I would do that, and then I would read over it, and it would occur to me that there was probably a half a dozen words in there that I could speak, but didn't know how to spell. That's one of my problems when I get on the computer and I try to do something, and I lose a lot of time trying to correct all the words that I don't know how to spell correctly. So I like this Dragon program. But anyway, that was unique, and I found it very, I'll use the word exciting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're connected to the Dragon, then I don't have to worry about writing nothing. I just get on there, I go to my notebook or wherever the hell it's at, and I just tell it what, just like I'm talking to you right now, but it'll print it out word for word for word for word. It'll all be grammatically correct, which is good. Like the other thing I want to look into, which I haven't done yet, and that's being able to send emails to people with an attached video that's been done by me, just like now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But once I get my Dragon hooked up to my computer, then I'll be able to go to my email, click on, I want to send an email to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can just talk into the computer and say exactly what I want to try to say to that person, and Dragon will print it all out for me. When it's all done, I can send it.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that I probably should. Uh-oh, this one I got to answer. Hold on. Hey, girl. I can't do this right now.
Calling you for lunch?
It's payday, so I got to leave the phone on, and I got to get out of here at a certain time because we got a lot to do today. But I wanted to get this started, and then I'll mark my book here to where I left off, and
Okay.
we'll go from there.
All right.
But anyway, let me get my book here real quick. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to mark it right there. And then Saturday, I'll come back and start there. So what do you think? I think personally, it's an excellent idea. It's better than just killing dead space,
Mm-hmm.
talking about baloney. But even with reading the books, I want to leave at least 10 to 15 minutes in reference to True United, anything that's coming up, anything that's been said. I found out that I can get to the new True United. Okay.
Yeah, TrueUnitedSoft.com.
Yeah, TrueUnitedSoft.com. Everybody needs to know that. I guess we can't log into it until we get the email, and I'm not sure when we'll get that.
Maybe today or tomorrow, we're thinking.
Yeah.
And hopefully the gift cards will be available today or tomorrow.
Yeah, the gift cards are in there, but I don't think that you can do anything until you can sign in. So they're there because I saw them.
Mm-hmm. There's 70 of them right now, or at least there were yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't count them, but there's quite a few in there.
Yeah.
Um,
Did I tell you about my gift that I got for being a top performer?
Yeah, you got a gift card for $50, didn't you?
Yeah, for PF Chang's. We're going to spend some of it today.
Oh, see, I have no idea where PF Chang's or what it even is.
It's Chinese.
Oh, Chinese. Okay. That's good. I looked over the restaurant part of it, and where I live in Elko, there's probably less than maybe 3 or 4 that are in there that I'm aware of that are in Elko. You know what I mean? Um, but that's okay. I'll still buy them because I'll be able to use them. And then I'll have to just look around town. Like I know there's one that's called Cabela's. Well, we got a Cabela restaurant. And then when I looked at it again, it was Cabela Sporting Goods or something like that. Well, I think we have a sporting Cabela in Elko, but we also have a Cabela restaurant.
Okay.
We have one here in Wells, and I think there's one in Elko. So those things you got to look over and get into. That's one reason that I want to leave a little bit of time, because if there's something specific that if there was somebody else here besides just you and me, somebody might want to, well, how do I get the card and what do I need to process it? We can kind of help them walk through it, and we can pull up, and do whatever's necessary to help them get through that particular problem.
Okay. Well, do you want me to show you how to download this to YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still recording, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it recorded because that way I can see it again.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen.
All right. Thank you.
It's not letting me.
Maybe it's not letting you.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I know I can't make my screen smaller because I'm recording. Oh, there we go.
Okay. And I'm going to go to my primary account, which is whitmer.david7.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move you out of the way because you're in my way.
Oh, get me out of there.
And I'm going to hit the 9 dots.
9 dots. Okay.
Okay. And click on YouTube.
Okay.
Then from there, in the upper right-hand corner, sort of, there's like a camera.
Okay.
Can you see my pointer?
Yeah.
Click on it.
How do you spell dots?
DOTS.
DOTS. Boy, did I spell that one wrong. Okay. And then the camera. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm clicking on it and it doesn't want to work.
Well, you don't have a video that you want to upload, do you?
No, but I don't need one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. And then you'll see upload video.
Okay. Upload video.
And click on that.
Okay.
And this will come up.
Okay.
It'll say select files. It'll come up in red.
Okay. Select file.
Click on it.
Okay.
Select whatever file you want to record, wherever it's stored. And when you're done with this, it's going to ask you where you want to store it. I always store it on my front screen on my desktop.
On your desktop. Okay.
So it's easily accessed, and then I just access it by going this way and then going to desktop, and I get all my options. Okay. And I have my own Zoom folder, so I usually click on it.
Okay.
There it goes. And then you want to do the one that says Zoom.
Yeah.
_O at the bottom.
Okay. Okay.
And then just click on it. And I'm not going to do it because I've already recorded this one.
Okay.
But it'll download it for you. It'll go through the process. Have you ever downloaded a video before?
I believe I have. I just forgot how to do it. Okay.
Well, in the upper right-hand corner, there's going to be a blue button. It'll say submit or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's something like download or upload, or it'll do it automatically. But
yeah,
then
I think I know what you're talking about on that one.
Once you do it, it'll come up with your code. And I put my notes into a, I give it a title that's different than the Zoom./O. And I also give it my information in case somebody wants to look at it. I put my name, phone number, and email address, as well as my website for my rotator. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the clock, and I don't want us to get cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the meeting. Okay?
Okay, well, I'll go then.
And that way, because I know we can't have too much time left. I will, what I need to do first is stop recording, right?
Right?